Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Port Charles didn't believe in quiet Mondays anymore, not after everything that had happened, not after the dead started coming back to life and secrets clawed their way out of grave no one even knew existed. At the hatchet-throwing range on the outskirts of town, sparks were flying, but not the dangerous kind, the playful kind, the flirty kind, the kind that made you forget the chaos simmering just beneath the surface. Elizabeth Baldwin squared her shoulders and adjusted her grip on the hatchet. Across from her, Rick Lansing watched with amused admiration. "You sure you've done this before?" Rick teased, leaning casually against the wooden barrier. Liz smirked. "You forget I've survived this town. I can handle a little target practice." She let the hatchet fly. It spun cleanly through the air and embedded dead center in the target, a perfect strike. Rick's eyebrows lifted. "I stand corrected." Their laughter echoed across the range, light and carefree. For a moment, Liz allowed herself to relax. No hospitals, no trauma, no complicated history, just a date, just fun. But Rick wasn't just there for fun. Liz didn't see the subtle calculation behind his eyes. She didn't know Carly's suspicions were already circling like vultures. Across the room, another pair had the exact same idea. Jacinda Bracken pulled off her blindfold with theatrical flair as Michael Corinthos stared around in surprise. "A hatchet-throwing range," Michael blinked. Jacinda grinned. "You expected candlelight and violins." "I didn't expect weapons," he replied dryly. "Relax," she laughed. "It's symbolic. Release stress, channel passion, throw sharp objects." Michael chuckled despite himself. For someone so often weighed down by family drama and corporate battles, this was refreshing. Jacinda stepped behind him, guiding his arm. "Like this," she murmured near his ear. The closeness wasn't accidental, neither was the way Michael's heartbeat subtly quickened. As the hatchet struck just outside the bullseye, Jacinda cheered. "You're getting better. Or you're distracting me." Her smile deepened, maybe both. Across town at GH, the atmosphere couldn't have been more different. Britt Westbourne stood rigid as Nathan West paced in front of her. "Anna swears Faison is alive," Nathan said grimly. The name hung in the air like poisons. Anna Devane had made shocking claims about Cesar Faison, insisting he wasn't dead after all, that he was back. Britt folded her arms. "That man has cheated death more times than anyone should." Nathan shook his head, but this time. The doors burst open. Liesl Obrecht swept inside like a hurricane in heels. "She's awake," Liesl announced dramatically. Britt's breath caught. "Who?" "Maxie." The world tilted. Maxie Jones was awake. Nathan's face drained of color, his entire body froze. For a long moment he couldn't speak. "She's awake," he repeated, barely audible. "Yes," Liesl confirmed, eyes glistening with fierce triumph. "In Boston, conscious, talking." Shock morphed into something more complicated in Nathan's eyes. Relief. Joy. Fear. Because if Maxie was awake, everything changed. Whatever had been quietly building between him and Lulu Spencer, whatever fragile closeness had begun forming in the aftermath of shared grief and impossible resurrections, would have to stop. At least for now. Nathan dragged a hand over his face. "She's going to see me." And Britt pressed. "And I don't know what she'll see." Meanwhile in Boston, Maxie stared at her mother in disbelief. Felicia Scorpio held her daughter's hands tightly. "Mom, that's impossible," Maxie whispered. "Nathan died." Felicia's eyes shone. "We thought so, we all did." Maxie's voice trembled. "You're telling me he's alive?" "There's proof, DNA, fingerprints." Maxie shook her head, struggling to process it. "Anyone can fake records." "We were skeptical too," Felicia admitted, "but we tested and retested. It's him." Tears welled in Maxie's eyes. "If it's really Nathan, I'll know." Because love like that, you don't forget it, you don't mistake it. Back in Port Charles, suspicion was brewing. Carly Spencer sat across from Jason Morgan at the Metro Court, her expression tight. "Rick has an agenda," she insisted. Jason remained calm, steady as always. "Sonny trusts him." "Sonny trusts too easily when it suits him." Sonny Corinthos had been leaning on Rick's legal expertise more and more, and disturbingly, they seemed to be bonding. Carly didn't buy it. Rick doesn't do anything without a payoff, she said firmly, and I want to know what it is. Jason's jaw tightened. I'll keep an eye on him. He always did. But Jason had something else on his mind, someone else. Later that night, Britt slipped quietly through the corridors. She knew Ross Cullum had forbidden her from having Jason in her life. But Valentine's Day didn't care about rules. She found Jason waiting. No words at first, just closeness, familiar warmth, a stolen moment. This is risky, Jason murmured. I don't care. She leaned in, and for a brief second the chaos of Port Charles faded into nothing. But danger was already tightening its grip elsewhere. At Wyndemere, shadows swallowed the halls. Lucas Jones stood frozen as Marco Rio stepped closer. You misheard, Marco insisted smoothly. I didn't, Lucas shot back. I know what I heard. Marco's expression darkened. You're overreacting. No, Lucas said firmly, you're lying. The shift was immediate. Marco's temper snapped. He grabbed Lucas' arm hard. You're not going anywhere, Marco warned. Fear flickered in Lucas' eyes, but so did defiance. This wasn't over. The island air felt heavier by the second. Lucas struggled against Marco's grip. Let go. Marco leaned in close, voice low and dangerous. You have no idea what you've stumbled into. Lucas' pulse pounded. He'd overheard too much, pieces of a conversation that didn't make sense, names, money, threats. Gaslighting wouldn't work. You're scared, Lucas realized suddenly. Marco's jaw clenched. You're scared I know the truth. For a split second Marco hesitated. That hesitation was all Lucas needed. He wrenched his arm free and bolted down the corridor. Behind him, Marco cursed. The mainland would eventually see Lucas again, but not without consequences. Back in Port Charles, Valentine's Day romance continued in pockets of light amid darkness. Harrison Chase smiled softly at Brooklyn Quartermain. Remember our first Valentine? Chase asked. Brooklyn laughed. You mean when everything went wrong? And we didn't care. They leaned closer, creating new memories layered over old heartbreaks. Elsewhere, Molly Lansing Davis sat with Alexis Davis. Multi-book deal, Alexis teased. Molly rolled her eyes. Maybe if my life ever slows down. Alexis studied her daughter carefully, and Cody. Cody Bell remained a complication Molly wasn't ready to unpack. Meanwhile, Nathan stared at his reflection. Maxie was awake. Would she embrace him? Or see a stranger wearing the face of the man she loved? And in Boston, Maxie demanded arrangements be made. I'm going to Port Charles. Felicia squeezed her hand. Are you ready? Maxie inhaled shakily. If it's really him, I need to see him. Back at the Metro Court, Carly watched Rick laughing with Sonny from across the room. Her instincts screamed. Jason approached quietly. Lucas was asking for you. Carly turned sharply. Lucas. He seemed shaken. Trouble was spreading like wildfire. Because Lucas wasn't just rattled. He was in danger. Marco wasn't done. And if Anna was right about Faison being alive, then Port Charles was standing on the edge of something explosive. Love was returning. Enemies were rising. Secrets were unraveling. And Monday was only the beginning.